Nancy from Nancy Chu Homes at Keller Williams and J Metro Group. Last night, my main market town of Montclair, New Jersey, they enacted a new law that will allow for accessory dwelling units, or as the acronym for them is ADUs. They're going to be allowed to be constructed in Montclair. So this is an awesome opportunity to introduce a more affordable housing option into a town where the median single family home price is about $1 million, give or take. By the way, if you watch my videos, please, if you're watching it on YouTube, like and subscribe and comment. And thank you very much for doing so. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about these ADUs. The permits for the ADUs they're going to be limited to either just single families and two family properties. Okay. Now the house or the ADU itself has to be owner occupied, and there has to be space for at least one parking spot to allow for that new ADU. It has to be between 300 and 800 square feet. And I guess maybe they're giving like a 5% extra space allowable for anything that's fully handicap accessible. There can only be one ADU per lot. No short-term rentals, okay? No rentals less than 6 months. So we're really talking about midterm and long-term rentals, okay? And plus, they kind of have to match the existing architecture and fit kind of well within the landscape. So let's go back and define what they are. All right, so an accessory dwelling unit is a small home that's usually built on the same property as any primary residence. It might be one or two bedrooms, but it's got to have its own kitchen and bathroom. Now, at the turn of the 20th century, ADUs were super popular, but they kind of lost favor after World War II. I think families had sort of started the migration to these newly developed suburbs, which gave them, a lot more space for their growing families. So ADUs kind of, weren't a thing. But in the last few years, especially in states like California, we're seeing a resurgence of the ADU. Increased demand for affordable housing has been a huge part of this trend, okay? So let's talk pros and cons. Pros: extra income, extra income, extra income. Whether it's a full-time tenant, a midterm lease, it's got great potential for an income source, okay? And someone to help you offset your taxes, offset your mortgage. And if you sell it, it may even add value to the sale of your home because of that extra income capability. You could be doing it because you want more usable space, right? You could have a workshop, a studio, a home office, a gym, a play space, extra storage. What else could you use it for? How about a guest suite for visiting friends and family? How about room for an au pair that allows them to have privacy and you to have privacy? Or most importantly, how about in-law suites? Okay. For those of you that have aging parents, we all know that assisted living facilities can be super, super costly over time. And since COVID, I would tell you that a lot of families prefer having their parents close by. I think it gives seniors an opportunity to live independently, but also kind of keep them close enough to you that you can kind of keep an eye on them and make sure everything's okay. In addition, adult children and college graduates, they seem to be coming back to the primary house as well. Okay. The millennial generation, I believe they've been coined the boomerang generation, which means that 50% of them are planning on coming home after college and living at home to save on expenses while they, work for their, look for their first job, etc. So considering the amount of rising student loan debt and rental and home prices, it's a really great way for kids to have, affordable housing while, growing their independence and not dealing with overwhelming financial struggle as a young person, which just is terrible. Let's talk about some cons, okay? So you do lose some of your basic property use, right? And whether or not you're doing a conversion or whether you're adding onto your property, you're going to lose some yard space. For instance, you may lose some storage space if you're doing a conversion. And how about this con? You have to become a landlord and you have to manage another person's living space, all right? Which means that repairs, house maintenance, and simply having someone sharing part of your space, like how do you use your yard if they want yard access as well? And last but not least, cost of construction. If you are building out a rental unit, for instance, you're going to have to calculate the cost in for putting in a kitchen, bathrooms, etc., right? So look, you might be considering adding an ADU to your property. The most important thing, I think, is to figure out why you're doing it. Are you doing it for rental income? Are you doing it to put family in there or for yourself, right? Now, once you know that, you're going to need to consider the size that you want to add or convert. You're going to have to pay attention to your property setbacks, right, that are dictated by your town, and how you want it to sort of maximize privacy for both the main house and also for the ADU itself, the ADU occupants. You need to plan for your utility connections, you know, access point, parking space, etc. And once you have this plan, does the cost of the build or the conversion make sense for what you need it for? Listen, either way, this new ADU approval is a step in the right direction towards solutions for rising cost of housing in your area. All right, guys, thanks so much for listening. If you have any more questions about it, you're always welcome to reach out. 917-992-3098 is my direct cell phone in case you need it. And otherwise, I will speak to you guys next week, and happy house hunting.